Is God real? Many argue that there is no evidence for a God, and several theories have been made in an attempt to scientifically explain the origins of life without a God. In the past, it has been a popular theory that the universe was finite, but astronomers were presented with a paradox when Isaac Newton discovered gravity. Newton saw that gravity was constantly attractive. Every object that is in the universe attracts to other objects. If the universe were truly finite, the attractive forces of all the objects of the universe would have caused the universe to collapse. Einstein encountered the same problem when he developed his theory of gravity. In the general theory of relativity, Einstein's original theory was that the universe was static, or finite. His equations, however, stated that the universe should be either collapsing, or expanding. When Edwin Hubble discovered that the universe was indeed expanding, Einstein called his original theory his greatest blunder. So, it was discovered that the universe was expanding. This would mean that it had a beginning. If the universe did have a beginning, then the source, or cause, would have ultimately come from a supreme intelligent being who created it with order and complexity. This being we call God. It would take a lot more faith to believe that nothing created everything that exists, which is scientifically impossible. It is much more logical to say that the world was created by a supreme God than to say that order and complexity was a cosmic accident. The Big Bang Theory states that somehow a cosmic explosion kick-started life, but in order to have an explosion, you need particles. If there is no God, where did those particles come from? And when you hear the word bang, you think explosion, or chaos. It makes no sense that an explosion would somehow cause order and life, with all its complexities. It makes a lot more sense, however, to believe that a personal God created us as personal creatures, male and female, animals of various kinds and also plants of different kinds. Organisms are able to reproduce and bring forth offspring of the same kind. There is evidence for evolution as a process, for example, adaptation, as animals can adapt to new environments, but there is no evidence for evolution as an origin. Our planet Earth is the only known planet that has life, and can sustain life, and that's remarkable. To write it off as an accident would be nonsensical. As it is written, the fool says in his heart, there is no God. The evidence of God is overwhelming. It's almost hypocritical when you think about how people believe that the pyramids were built by someone, yet they doubt that a God created life forms which are far more complex than the pyramids. You look at a huge beautiful building, and you immediately think, there must be a builder. How much more complex is a microscopic single-cellular organism than that building? Yet, you struggle to believe there is evidence of God? The evidence of God is all around you. You can see God's fingerprints in the designs of nature. Speaking of fingerprints, there are approximately 8 billion people on the earth, and yet, every one of them have different patterns of fingerprints that is unique to them. Even identical twins who share DNA code with have different fingerprint patterns. These are just facts that points to the existence of God. God has left his creation to testify of his glory and existence. Some of these baffle the minds of scientists. As it is written, has not God made foolish the wisdom of the world? I know many reject God just so that they can live a life without accountability. And if there is no God, then there is no absolute justice. A guy who murdered children, and then ended his own life escaped judgment. But there is a God, and there will be a day when we must give an account for all evil we do in secret. And though we all have done wrong against God, he sent his son Jesus, to save all who would trust in him as Lord and Savior, and turn away from that which is immoral and wrong.